Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. They call him the boat. And we about to run it down, man. We got 2 hours for you. Some hot topics. I know you guys want to talk about it. So make sure you drop your comments, man. And we may let you guys inside the Hall of Fame, let you get your champagne wishes, your caviar dreams, your piece of the action. What, man?
I just appreciate the energy, given that we're a couple hours away from this hurricane hitting landfall. Just want to make sure everybody listening out there is staying safe. If you needed to evacuate, you've evacuated to a better place, a safer place. And if you're staying home, just keep an eye on the storm, and hopefully we all get through it. We did Harvey a couple years ago. I think we're going to be all right.
Yeah, man. Me and Charmel, we rode out Ike back in the day in the Winnebago. And Charmel was pregnant back then too, and
wow.
All lights went off in the house, and we had to bail out and go out into the Winnebago and kick the generator on. And I tell you, man, I remember so vividly. It was late at night, probably, 1 o'clock in the morning is when it really hit. And Charmel was dead asleep. And I'm sitting in the Winnebago, and I don't know what the hell I was thinking about, but I was sitting in the front seat of my Winnebago, and the wind was just shaking me back and forth, and the wind would actually get up under the Winnebago, and it would actually sound like Godzilla or something. It made a sound that I had never heard before in my life, and it would do it periodically. So I'm thinking the Winnebago for the take off and flip a. Whatnot. But I tell you, man, everybody, man, be safe out there. This thing is serious. It's looking like it's not going to be as serious for us here in the Houston area as perhaps we thought it would be. But hey, man, that don't make it, not serious to a lot of people that's going to be right in the wake of it, right in the middle of it. So make sure you, if you got some people out there, reach out, because it ain't over till it's over.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. It looks like that Lake Charles area, all our Louisiana people, our Louisiana family. I feel connected to Louisiana. So, again, y'all just stay safe. Get the hell out of there. If you can, just get out of harm's way. I was like you. I think we wrote it out in 2009 for Ike. And I just never remember hearing something so crazy. The wind was just wild. I've never heard that. And, all the fences getting knocked down, the power goes out, but we made it through. So everyone just stay safe. That's all.
Yeah. Like I say, man, it was serious, man. It was very, very serious. Just as serious as it is right now in America, man. The shooting in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Jacob Blake. I want to send my prayers out to him. Hope he'll get well soon, man. They say the brother's going to be paralyzed from the waist down, if nothing, if, at the least, as well as, just the mental, anguish you got to go through in a situation. I can't even, I can express words for it. I can only imagine how I would feel if I was going through it. I'm serious. And the thing is, with these kind of police shootings like this, the brother was right there. You saw him. It was, I don't know how many cops around him, but they all had their guns drawn like it was an animal, opposed to a human being that 5 men can't beat up. You know what I mean? Or take down, restrain, put him in handcuffs, whatever. But for that situation to have turned out to the way it did, it saddens me more than anything, because, like I say, Dylan Roof, they took this kid to get a cheeseburger after he killed all those people. You know what I mean? It's amazing. It just makes me scratch my head when I see something like that, because I can only imagine 2 police officers should be able to take down the guy had nothing in his hands, and every one of the cops had their guns drawn. That's when you see something like that, man, you just I don't know, man. I just wish and pray, man, that something happened soon.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit before that the all the NBA games that were on tonight. It started with the Milwaukee Bucks decided to boycott the game 5, and then all the other teams followed suit, including the Houston Rockets. Russell Westbrook met with Chris Paul in a locker room, and they decided they were going to boycott, and they all left the arena and went back on the buses. So all the Game 5s are canceled tonight, and hopefully people who are looking forward to the games, me being one of them, but other people who haven't realized or paid much attention to the issues that have been going on. I don't know how you couldn't, but if you haven't been paying attention, hopefully this will get your attention and you can really educate yourself on what people of color, predominantly African-American males, go through in this country on a daily basis. And, check your privilege and just think about it.
I think the only thing to make people understand is the bottom line, the dollar bill. That's all.
Right. Mm-hmm.
All it is. The dollar bill, man. All those games being canceled, you know how much money was lost?
A lot.
You know how much money was lost? A whole lot of money was lost, especially the advertisers. They're pissed off.
Millions.
Yeah. And I can only imagine, you see, the NFL now trying to adopt, coming on board when they say, well, they'll say, I made a mistake. You know what I mean? I made a mistake. Yeah, you made a huge mistake, a pivotal mistake in life when you just could have said, let's look at this seriously, opposed to let's shut them up and keep them quiet. And that's the sad part right there. It's too late to come along now with all this, with everything that's going on right now. Kaepernick started it, and it was before George Floyd or anybody, Jacob Blake or it was before all of this stuff happened.
Yeah, I think it was 3 years ago today, to the day.
And that's the really sad part about it right there, is that he started that movement, talking about it because it was something he felt inside that he had been seeing on a regular basis. And for a man to give up everything, his money, life, well-being, livelihood for a cause, it had to mean something. And for people to have swept it under the rug, man, I didn't agree with a lot of things that Kaepernick did for him to get his point across. You know what I mean? But I understood exactly where he was coming from. I could feel his pain. I know how he was hurting. But I just hope that people wake up and see, man, that we got to get past this kind of this racial indifferences. We got to get past the racial tension, because if that's the way people want to live life and wake up in the morning and go to bed at night thinking about that, you ain't got a whole lot of time on your hands. It's too much. I'm 55. It's way too much life in between black and white that it ain't even funny. So you guys better wake up, because it goes very, very quickly. And if that's what you're thinking about throughout your lifetime, you could be dead tomorrow, and hopefully you had a great life.
Yeah. I mean, I thought when, even you and I, walked through the streets of Friendswood, Texas a few months back, in the midst of the pandemic and everything, I thought that, man, I remember talking to you. I said, man, this feels different. I said, this feels different. This feels like maybe something's going to happen. And then you see what happened, all those days ago. And
the thing is, I don't know the full, circumstances, the full story as far as what went on there, but I do know it was an unarmed man with three kids in the car.
Right. That's all you need to know. Unarmed man. That's all you need to know. You can stop right there.
Well, but with the three kids in the car, that's definitely going to make me, pause, make me be real cautious, because there again, to protect and serve, that's the part that's missing today. I think the protect and serve part. Now, I don't know. Like I say, the brother obviously was heated. Okay, that was obvious. But for it to escalate to where the cops are going to lose their jobs, more than likely, they're going to have a stigma put on them for the rest of their lives. This is their moment in the sun. the police officers, and I can almost guarantee you, I did it again. I wouldn't say guarantee, but more than likely believe that the cops don't want that on their record, on their badge. You know what I mean?
Right.
One of the cops that was in the George Floyd incident was Asian, okay? And I'm sure he wondering, how the hell I get in this situation? Hey guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. You know, we rolling, man. We rolling. We got a lot. Like
what are you laughing about?
I'm thinking about the Asian man. He wondering, like I say, man, I come over here. I do know. What way? You where you are? I'm just saying, man.
Stop.
End up in some crap like this.
You're tripping. You know that?
I'm serious, man. Oh man, but back to what I was saying, man. We got a lot to talk about. We got a whole lot to talk about. Some just came over the ticker or just in the break, the ESPN. It came up and it said Anderson Silva says Uriah Hall could be his final foe. That could be it, man. He's gonna wrap it up and walk away in the sun. And say, man, it's been a great career. It's been a great career. What do you think as far as Anderson Silva? Is his last hurrah, you think?
Well, you know, if it isn't, I think it kind of should be. I think Anderson's kind of at the point to where we've seen the best of Anderson Silva, and now he seems like the guy who still has drawing power. He still has a name, absolutely. But the way they used him in the Israel Adesanya fight, that really told me where he is in his career. They said, because here's the thing, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, what have you, 7 years ago, Israel versus Anderson Silva would have probably been the victor in that. I think they put him in that because they knew we got a couple fights left to Anderson. Let's give Israel a win over this guy. It looks good on the resume, and we'll keep it moving. And I think that Anderson's just at a point to where we've seen his best fights. They're behind him. Only thing he's going to go out there and do is risk further injury when he's had one of the most horrific injuries you can have in this sport. He's risking more injury. So I think this is a good place in time to say goodbye. We just saw DC say goodbye. Anderson's past that 4-0 mark. He has nothing left to prove in the sport. Probably never going to get a championship shot again. I think that's a safe bet. And I'm sure he's made a lot of money because he's represented a country and represented it very well. And he'll go down as a top 10, if not a top 5 guy all time in the sport. So he's got it all. He's got it all wrapped up. So he might as well put a bow on it.
I mean, you know,
and he might be able to beat Uriah Hall too, which would be great.
He definitely could be Uriah Hall. I really think, I believe that Uriah Hall's skills have definitely diminished quickly in the UFC. I mean, he's a guy that was touted to be special, extraordinary. Uriah Hall, man, I mean, people thought that guy was going to be the legit next big thing. It just didn't work out for him. But Anderson Silva, I think right now at what is he? What is Anderson? 45 years old right now.
Is he really 45? Oh yeah. It's time.
45 years old. Do Anderson Silva still got one good fight left in him? I think so, man. Just look at it though. Look at it. All of those fights that he's had, before Chris Weidman, early in the game, let's not talk about those fights. Let's talk about all the fights since he got to the UFC. All right. And let's just think about this just 1 second. All of those fights, other than the 2 Chris Weidman fights, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's ever stopped him.
Right.
And he's been in a position to beat the majority of the guys that he's been in the octagon with. He's never been in a position where he looked, man, he need to retire right now. What fight did he look like he should have retired right now?
Prior to the Chris Weidman fights?
Yeah. And after.
And after, maybe not even after. He hasn't had really a terrible showing.
He hasn't. Anderson Silva, other than the Chris Weidman, and like I say, that was an anomaly.
Which Chris Weidman fight? The first one or the second one?
The first one.
The first one. You think that was an anomaly? Well, it was an anomaly in the sense of Anderson thought at that point he was unstoppable.
Well, no. I say it was an anomaly because what has Chris Weidman done after that?
Right. He hasn't had the greatest career post Anderson.
That's the only fight that really made his career. You don't remember nothing before or after.
Right. That's true.
That Chris Weidman ever did. Okay. That's why I say it was an anomaly. And then there again, I'm looking at Anderson Silva's career. If not for the Chris Weidman anomaly, and especially the broken fibula,
right. Mm-hmm.
That right there, that tells me, man, this guy perhaps would have been undefeated in all of those fights.
Well, look, prior to that, I'm just looking at some of the names. Rich Franklin, Dan Henderson, Chris Lieben, Rich Franklin twice, actually, Chael Sonnen, Damian Maia, Stephan Bonner, Vitor Belfort. Those are all Hall of Fame names for the most part. Maybe not Chris Lieben, but everyone else is a Hall of Fame name that he went through. And then you see these 2 fights, the Chris Weidman fights. And then after that, it was pretty much downhill. He had the one Derek Brunson win, and that was pretty much all that we've seen. Anderson Silva's not been victorious in most of these fights. You kind of can't count the DC one.
Well, but do count the DC one because if that would have been a 5-round fight, Anderson Silva probably would have won that fight.
Yeah, and that was taken on, I think, less than 48 hours notice.
Exactly my point. So how many? But when all of those fights that you put up there, all of those fights, tell me one fight where Anderson Silva, you were saying, sitting at home and watching it and saying, man, he need to retire right now, man. He's done.
Well, not really any of them, because if you look at look at how many rounds they all went. The distance.
That's what I'm saying. No one stopped him. No one has stopped
except for this last fight that he had.
That's what I'm saying, man. So, man, I make a case for Anderson Silva even, being able to stick around the game a little bit longer if he wanted to, if he was competing against the right opponent. Of course, he definitely can have, 2-3 more fights. I really do, especially if he can go out and get by Uriah Hall, especially there again, coming off of his last fight was against DC. Am I correct?
Who Uriah Hall's?
Anderson Silva.
And no, Anderson Silva's last fight was against Jared Cannonier.
What was the outcome?
He lost in the first round. He got knocked out to UFC 237. Prior to that, it was the Israel fight, and then he beat Derek Brunson right before that one.
Okay, all right.
I don't remember this 237 fight, to be honest.
I don't remember that either, man. I'm a little.
I'm lost in that one. I don't remember that.
What's the guy's name again?
Here, I'll put it up on the screen. So maybe you've heard it. It's this one, Jared Cannonier. Yeah, this last fight right here, UFC 237, in May of last year. I don't remember that fight actually. I don't
remember that either.
But apparently it happened. So
I must have been sleeping on that one, man.
I don't remember. We talk about this all the time, and I don't remember talking about it.
That one right there. I'm a sleeper on that one right there. I'm definitely gonna have to pull it up on the tube.
Yeah.
Put it up on the tube and the U and check it out and see exactly how
but Anderson's legacy is intact. Like I said, he can never fight again, and he's still going to go down as one of the greatest of all time. So I think that if he wants to do this, kind of like DC, especially in a fight that he thinks he can win, why not walk away with a win if you can get it and call it a career? You're 45 years of age. I mean, he's I'm sure he's honest with himself. He can only have maybe 1 or 2 more fights at all anyway. So I think this might be a good time to call it quits.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know, man. Like I say, man, how you gonna tell a man? How you gonna tell a man that he can't feed his family? You can't do it. You can't do it. So these guys, this is what they know. But one thing about Anderson that I think, his name, just that name carries a lot of weight in that sport. And I'm not saying open a chain of gyms or anything like that, but definitely maybe a couple gyms, one in the States as well as one in Brazil. Man, that dude can make so much money. You know, I'm sure he would, he's going to want to expand very quickly because the dollars are going to just be adding up. You know what I mean? And then the speaking engagements, tutorials and stuff like that, going out and giving that knowledge as far as how did he get to where he got in that sport, because he definitely got to the top of it. And he credited the Nogueira brothers a whole lot as far as, the reinvention, I would say, of Anderson Silva, of the way he did it, back in the day over in Japan and whatnot, before it, and then he came over here and whatnot. And it was when you go back and look at Anderson Silva's career before, pre UFC, he looked like a totally different person. He looks nothing like the anomaly that we have seen in the UFC for so many years. But he definitely put himself on the map, and he had to have created that and found that somehow. It doesn't happen by osmosis or anything like that. You don't slip on a banana peel and next thing you know, no one can beat you. And you're going out and doing spectacular stuff. It just doesn't happen that way. You know what I mean? Ask Ben Johnson. You got to be special, man, in order to do what guys like this do, in order to call yourself the best, man. But hey, man, stick around. We got a whole lot more for you, WWE talk, but some more UFC talk. Stick around. Back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Still rolling. We're still rolling. Hey, man.
Real quick, I wanted to ask you one more thing on Silva. One more thing on Anderson Silva. We're just talking about Anderson Silva maybe fighting his last fight against Uriah Hall, coming up very soon on a UFC fight night. Is he on your Mount Rushmore of MMA fighters? Is he in your fave 5? Does he crack that top 5 for you?
Yeah, man. I mean, no doubt. I've always been a huge fan of Anderson Silva. He's been a great performer. He's been an athlete. He's been more importantly for the UFC, he's been a star. A guy that's been drawing a lot of eyes on that company for many, many years. And so I hope they don't phase him out like they've done a lot of the older fighters in that sport, by just keep bringing them back and bringing them back and bringing them back.
Yeah.
I actually hope this is the last hurrah for Anderson Silva, because like you said there earlier, man, this guy can make money. It's the last thing he's going to have to worry about unless he's doing a lot of out of the ring extra curricular activities. like we're going to be talking about here later.
Uh-oh.
But nah, man, yeah, he's definitely in my fave five as far as MMA fighters, UFC fighters, throughout the tenure from the beginning to right now. Anderson Silva is in my fave five out of all timers in the UFC.
Yeah, no, he's in my. I think he's in mine as far as one of the most skillful people of all time. Mine's weird. You know what I mean? I juggle back and forth between, do I go on who I think is the most skilled fighter, or do I go on who I like the most, or do I go on who's the biggest draw? There's all those kind of things that you think about, but I think Anderson Silva checks all those boxes, right? He's someone who he says very little, but he's got a lot of charisma, especially when he's fighting. He talks with his hands and his feet, and he's a big draw, and his technique is one of the best of all time. So he's in my top five as well.
Yeah. There again, man. Definitely in my top five. He's a guy that's he put that certain flavor on the map, that certain style. And then when he came in, the way he finished guys was just so impressive. His ground skills were just as impressive as his stand-up game. So he definitely was one of those guys that, you know, when you think about UFC and UFC fighters, he's one of the first guys that come to your mind. Of course, you know, people are going to think about Conor McGregor. But as far as guys that went out there and took care of business, yeah, definitely.
It's interesting you bring that up. I just saw a tweet earlier today about Conor, a comparative in the wrestling business, and I just want to know how you feel about this. They said that Conor McGregor is the Hulk Hogan of MMA, the name that most people will know, not necessarily the greatest of all time.
You know, I don't agree with that, man. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I could be wrong. I do know that the company, the UFC, really pushed Conor McGregor like they didn't push any other fighter that I've seen throughout my years of watching that sport. There again, Conor McGregor is good. He's very talented. I don't know what it's hard. It's going to be hard to. How old is Conor McGregor?
He's got to be 31, maybe 32.
Exactly. And the thing is, at 31 years old, Conor McGregor's best days is well behind him.
He made a lot of money in those days, though.
That's not what I'm talking about.
You're saying as a skilled technician,
as a fighter that went out and beat all of the best guys throughout the tenure of, you know, your time in the business. You know, that's what I'm talking about. He made money, and like I say, due to the UFC getting behind him and backing him and putting him on the map, and then the most money he made was outside of the UFC. So it had nothing to do with the UFC. So I just think when I look at totality, I'm looking at Anderson Silva retiring at 45.
Right.
And we're talking about Conor McGregor, you know, he's already lost, big, in his last fight. And then the Nate Diaz thing, that was a debacle.
Well, his last fight, he beat Cowboy. You're talking about the Khabib.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, he beat Cowboy, but the last fight he lost.
Yeah.
And then the other fight that he lost was Diaz. Those two losses right there, one was to the best guy in the division, and one was to a B- fighter. Okay, so it's hard for me to say what do I put Conor McGregor as far as UFC fighters at the end of the day, with the guys who has made history by going out there and fighting the best throughout the tenure of their careers.
Well, I think that the Hogan comparison wasn't so much his ability inside the octagon. It's just if you go up to someone on the street and you say, name a pro wrestler, most people might say, oh, Hulk Hogan or, The Rock or something like that. And I think for the UFC, if you say, name an MMA fighter to someone random on the street, they're probably going to say Conor McGregor or Ronda Rousey, right?
I doubt that.
I'm
not saying that a lot of people don't know Conor McGregor and a lot of people don't know Ronda Rousey, but the UFC is such a big sport. A lot of people got their favorite, and they're going to say who they like.
Right, but I'm saying the layman, like the people who aren't the observers of the sport. If you just you go down the hole and you ask
those people may not know anyone.
No, but that's the point. That's the point, though. The point is the people who don't know anybody, they're going to know Conor's name. I remember back in the day, Snoop Dogg had a song. He said, "That's a start. I'm a bad mother. I'm the only rapper known by your grandmother." Right? She, they might have never ever heard of. I asked my grandma. I said, "Do you know Snoop Dogg?" "Yeah, I know who Snoop Dogg is."
Yeah.
Because they transcend it just because they're a big star. They might have never watched a Conor McGregor fight, but they're going to know who he is.
But then again, those same people that might say Snoop Dogg might say LL Cool J. So it's
might.
Point. There's so many different, or Ice-T. You know what I mean? Because they're mentioned right now on a regular basis. So it's hard for me. No, I'm serious. I'm just being dead serious. It's hard for me to give Conor McGregor that prop when he hadn't proved it. Hogan wrestled everybody. Hogan put everybody else on the map as well. So
that's true.
So it's kind of hard for me to say that he's the Hulk Hogan.
He proved it from a numbers standpoint, right?
Like I say, he's made more money outside. I can't. Let's take
pay-per-view buys, viewership.
Probably, yeah, because there again, the UFC got behind him and pushed him like they didn't push any other fighter.
Same with Hogan.
No, I don't think so. I don't
WWF got behind him.
WWF got behind him, but there again, it's a totally different pecking order, especially when you work in the way we work and the way they work. It's just it's just two totally different games. That I say I can't say it. Right. I can say it. Whoever wrote the story might can say it, but I can't say he's the Hulk Hogan of MMA just because he hadn't. He's had a great buy rate, right. But but the buy rate and being the best is just two different things.
Oh, I agree. He's not going to be, I think, from a skill standpoint, on anybody's top 5 of all time as far as his ability.
That's the thing. The thing for Conor McGregor, he should retire now. The best thing Conor McGregor to do right now is to retire now, before it really started to get ugly for a fighter like him, because his skills level is not going to go up any higher. I don't think at 31 years old. I don't think his skill level is going to get any higher. As well as I think the formula has been figured out as far as Conor McGregor go with a lot of these guys out there. And the thing is, he's going to have to at 31. He's going to be fighting guys, 25 and 23 and 24. Those guys are hungry, man. Those guys are so much more hungry than Conor McGregor is right now at this point in his career. He could really go out and do something, and the wheels could fall off, and the ore of Conor McGregor and proper 12 could go up with the freaking, the dike real quick, and we started losing money like crazy, so I think, he's like me, like I said, when I was 19, 20, and I was a dancer, and the 16, 17-year-old kids were, they were just better than me. That's all it was. They were just better.
But when you were the elder statesman in the locker room, when you were Conor's age or older, 35, you were probably untouchable at that moment in your career.
You know what? I really, wrestling is totally different than
I know
than that sport. Honestly, I was better when I was 40 in wrestling because I knew what not to do, and I could just pretty much put it on cruise control. But I just think in that sport, as we were just talking about, I think not Monday, but maybe last week we were talking about Woodley versus Covington, and there again, Covington, he got more youth than Woodley. And if those guys were the same age, I bet on Woodley, 4 times out of 5. But in this fight, I'm gonna go with the younger guy just because I feel like he's the guy that's got more in the tank from a physical standpoint, a more hunger standpoint. It just got so much to do with so many different things. But guys, we got a lot to talk about. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer, and this is for all up-and-coming professional wrestlers, male and female. You want to know the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts. You got a question, I got the answer. If you want to know how, join my masterclass. Go to realityofwrestling.com for all the information. Starting on Thursday and every Thursday after that, guys. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. And I know you can dig that.
The Academy.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Hey, man, still talking sports. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I was watching something. I was reading something, and Oscar De La Hoya said that he's going to be making.
Sorry, continue.
Mike Tyson said he's going to do it. And, later on, set up in the year, him and Roy Jones Jr. But now Oscar say he's coming out of retirement, and he's getting back in the ring. The president of Golden Boy Promotions, the guy that's been, I thought was a somewhat genius, the next Don King of boxing, says he's going to be stepping back inside the square circle for just one more time, maybe. I don't know. But Dana White had something to say about it. And the thing is, we all know that Oscar has had his problems in the past with substance abuse.
Yeah.
It's on record, that he's gone to rehab, I think, a couple of times as far as cocaine. Cocaine.
White girl.
Running all around my brain, cocaine. He's I don't know. What do you think about the comeback first? Before we get to the Dana White and saying, what he said, and was it fair or not? But what do you think about Oscar De La Hoya making a comeback?
How old's Oscar? He's got to be 50, right?
Let me see, man.
Here, I'm pulling him up right now. Oscar De La Hoya is 47. Okay. That's older, especially for a boxer. I don't like it. Let me just say that. I don't think it's a good idea. Oscar De La Hoya hasn't fought in a decade or longer?
Easy, yeah.
12. Because what was his last fight? Was it Pacquiao? Or no? I think it might have been Pacquiao.
It wasn't Bernard Hopkins.
Maybe it was Hopkins. It's one of the two. I'll look it up here in a second. Yeah. But he's been out of the ring for at least a decade, and same as Mike. But I just don't. Oscar doesn't look the same. Let me just say that he doesn't look like he's maintained his physique. Now,
the thing is, when the last time you seen Oscar without a suit on?
It's been a minute.
That's what I'm saying. So how you know how he look?
Well, just from the suit, the suit's not as sharp as it was back in the day. See, with Mike, at least I got to see the workout videos. You know what? Let Oscar put out his 60-second video and let him say I'm back at the end, and then I can tell you.
You don't want to show your hand. This stuff, Mike. You saw. Look here. You saw how that turned out for Evander Holyfield, right?
Well, Holyfield maybe. Holyfield's not doing it.
You saw how it turned out. He put out the 30-second video. I'm back. It went the last time we saw it. With
that video. Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like Oscar coming back, and I'll tell you why. Just because at a certain point, and we've said for the fighters, it's around 40, especially in the UFC. It's almost the same in boxing. You were doubtful of Manny Pacquiao against Keith Thurman because you said, I know what it's like to wake up with 40-year-old legs. You also know what it's like to wake up with 47-year-old legs, and it's not a whole lot better than it was at 40. It's a little worse, isn't it, right? to wake up with 47-year-old legs to go into a sport like that where you can't be, no one can go out there and take care of you. It's not like an Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee situation where I'm gonna shine you up real nice here, kid. This is a fight between a grown man and a grown man. And De La Hoya, unless he fights somebody in that age range, I don't like it. I don't like it.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you right now. I understand where you're coming from, but the same guy that beat Oscar De La Hoya, I think perhaps his last fight, I'm not sure, Bernard Hopkins, he defended the championship at age 48.
Yeah. I don't know, Book.
I'm just saying. I'm just giving you some facts right there.
That's fine.
Bernard
Hopkins sit on the sidelines for 15 years?
I'm just saying.
He sit on the sidelines for 15 years.
He defended the championship at age 48.
And who did he fight?
Be that as it may.
You could defend the title at 55 if you fought me. You know what I mean? You'd be all good. I just looked it up. His last fight was in 2008 versus Manny Pacquiao. So it was Pacquiao. Yeah. He retired on. Now, the thing is, like I said, if he fights somebody who's around his age, like a Shane Mosley, maybe I could see that fight. Maybe Oscar, Shane, 6 rounds, exhibition, keep it nice and light. Maybe we see that. But any kind of competitiveness, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see it.
Well, the thing is, right now, man, in the what weight would he be coming back at? Middleweight, maybe? Yeah, something like that. It's got to be middleweight to light heavy. It can't be welterweight.
No, toward the end there, he was fighting at light middle. So I imagine middleweight or light heavy.
Yeah. Thing is, man, it ain't a whole lot of guys in those divisions right now. So it may not be impossible or a stretch, a leap of the imagination or anything like that for Oscar to be able to come back and boom, step right in there if he can, get a few wins under his belt. Look, I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen or anything like that. But there again, I remember I've been around a long time. I remember George Foreman taking off for more than a decade and then coming back and becoming the world heavyweight champion at 45. You know what I mean? I've seen it happen. So that's why I'm.
That's true. That's actually a good point. That's a good point. But the Dana White aspect of this is, I don't know if it's fair to continue to go after this guy for past discretions. I will say it's funny. Dana White's response to Oscar coming back, he had one line response, and it said, "Cocaine ain't cheap." Yeah. That was his response.
It's very expensive.
Yeah. This is what I can only appreciate about it. At least Dana White always keeps the same energy. He always keeps, if he doesn't like you, he's going to keep that same energy no matter what. Or he's always going to say the same thing. So I can appreciate that. I think that at this point, you're probably like worth several $100 million as, the president of the UFC. Yeah, let's leave Oscar alone. Let's leave him alone. And bury the hatchet, but it did make me chuckle when I saw it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hell of a comeback.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here because I don't know what I would say in that situation when a reporter asks you, "Hey, what do you think about Oscar De La Hoya making a comeback?" And first thing I'm thinking, why would the president of Golden Boy Promotions be making a comeback? First of all. He should be enjoying the fruits of the labor. Like that's the last thing that Bob Arum will be thinking about. It is Don King or any that that's what I always say. You don't never want to be the owner and then the champion at the same time.
Right.
And that's where Oscar pretty much. I don't know this Golden Boy Promotion. We don't know who his first fight going to be against. It could be against you.
It'd be against the number 1,000 in the United States.
So
you got to keep it separate because Don King was never going to try to put the gloves on and go in there and promote a fight of himself. By the way, read some crazy stuff about Don King that we don't have to get into, but I didn't know this man's got some crazy stories out there. but he always kept it. I'm the promoter. That's who I am.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't think Oscar needs to step out of that role because he's winning right now. Oscar's a winner right now. You know, Golden Boy.
The thing is, we think, you know, from the outside looking in, we think
he looks like a winner.
Yeah, yeah. And then they did that MMA thing not too long ago that didn't work out too well. You know, so I don't know, man. I don't know.
Because you fail at something doesn't necessarily mean you're a failure overall. I commend him for trying it, because we've always talked about having parity in MMA and being able to have more places for guys to go and get paid more. Now, he didn't pay the guys all that much. It was like 12 and 12 or something like that, or 1 and 1 to show up. But I like that at least he gave it an effort. Right? Like Vince tried to do the XFL a couple of times. He was trying to do something. You know, this time it had the pandemic. First time it didn't really work out, but I always commend somebody for trying.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I stay in your lane. That's what I'm saying. You know, I remember back in the day, I had a clothing store, you know, Jam Zone, right there, Southwest Houston. I said, man, I'm gonna open me a store, man, you know, right here, Southwest Houston, man. Get a people. You know what they want, you know, just get the people, you know, some of the, I'm gonna fly to New York. I'm gonna get some of the nice Burberry, you know what I mean? I'm gonna get all the good stuff, you know what I mean?
All authentic,
very, very authentic, and like artifacts, authentic. You know what I'm saying? And man, I opened a store, man. We rolling good. I'm selling CDs. I'm talking about dope house music. You know what I mean? Everything, man. I got everything in there. Screwed up, click. You know, I was one of the first brothers in the city that had some 50 cent for all y'all. You know what I'm saying? And man, I couldn't keep them suckers from breaking in. You know, first time I came to work, you know, somebody had broke the window and just stole the outfit off the mannequin. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So I get that fixed, you know what I mean? You know, I say, all right, put the burglar bar. I mean, put the little gimmick on the door, a little magnet, you know, come to work. Boom. They did, you know, broke in through the store 3 doors down. You know, came through his wall to come through my wall to break in there and steal everything. I say, man, I need to hire these guys. You know what I mean? For some labor. This is labor, man. This is labor going through all that. Right. Man, they easily could have a job making some money. You know what? You know what I mean? With like roaches, you turn the lights on. Boom, they gone. Hey, guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. We still got plenty for you. Brett, you got something on your mind or something?
Yeah. We have a super chat that I wanted to get to. We didn't get in the last segment, so I want to bring it in right now. This is from Bryant Rivera. Said, hey, Booker, I saw a picture of you and Muhammad Ali. Yeah. You show your thoughts on meeting him. I think he meant share your thoughts on meeting Ali. Yeah, that Twitter account, 90s Wrestling, tweeted it out the other day, and it got a lot of traction. So, well, I know you've told it before, but just go again. What was it like meeting the greatest of all time?
Yeah, it was the greatest of all times. It was the greatest moment in my life, man. It's only 2 people I wanted to meet in my life was Sammy Davis Jr. and Muhammad Ali. And I didn't get a chance to meet Sammy, but I had a card show, Topps card show that I had to go to. And the only reason I really wanted to go was Muhammad Ali was going to be there. And when I got there, he had left, and he was a little tired. Man, I was bummed out. I was upset about it, but my PR people somehow talked to his PR people, and Muhammad Ali invited me to his hotel room. And I was like, wow, Muhammad Ali invited me to his hotel room, and I hung out with the champ for about 30 minutes, and it was amazing time. And I tell you, man, it taught me something because it was something that he didn't have to do. He easily he could have told his PR people no, but he told them, yeah, and that taught me it doesn't cost you anything to be nice to people. And that's why I always try to be nice to my fans. I always try to be nice when someone come up to me and, say what's up. I was coming through Orlando, Florida airport just a couple of days ago, and I had my full mask on, man, and I could not believe it. This guy recognized me and said, "Booker T, what's going on, man?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? You got to be kidding me!" And but no, man, I tell you, man, someone like that, the champ, invite you in, and there again, he knew who I was too. I was like, wow, it was amazing, man. It was the best day of my life. I was like a kid at Christmas time, getting a chance to just sit there and bask in his glory, because never in a million years I thought something like that would happen to a kid that came from South Park, Houston, Texas. But yeah, man, great time.
That's crazy. I mean, I remember when I first saw the picture in your office thinking, how cool is it? And I remember we actually are going to be joined here momentarily by a special guest book. They got a big match going on in the Schmodown this Friday. But I remember when this man came in your office for the first time, that was the first thing that he went to too. Hey, tell me the story. Tell me the story about Muhammad Ali. Are you ready? Can I bring him in right now?
Yeah, man, do it.
Let's bring him in right now. He is the chairman of the board for the Movie Trivia Schmodown, the creator. They got a big match this Friday. Chris Jericho, the Ayatollah of rock and roller, versus Kevin Smith, the big-time director, if y'all don't know, Clerks, Mallrats, all kinds of great stuff. Here he is right now, Mr. Kristian Harloff. What's going on, Kristian?
What's up, guys? How you doing? You damn right I went to that Muhammad Ali picture. You kidding me? That was the coolest. It was like the first time I think I had seen Book, and since we worked together back all those years, and it was really cool to go in there and see that whole setup is so beautiful over there that you guys got. So especially with that, you got some great pictures in there, Book.
Hey, man, I tell you, one of my favorite too, Karl Malone. I tell you, man, actually get a chance to hang out and network with that guy back in the day, man. He was such a cool dude. There again, man, a guy that, it didn't cost him anything to be nice, and that's just the type of person he was. And if you go through that way in life, man, I tell you, man, you get. I have to teach my wife that all the time. She calls someone, she's trying to book a flight or something. She getting hot at him. I said, "Baby, would you just calm down? Calm down." You know what I mean? Boom, they hang up on it, and then I call back and probably end up with the same person and get her upgraded and everything just because of being nice. How you doing today? You know what? The weather's great here too. It's easy to try to make a person feel good, especially when they're in that type of job, because they've had so many people that they've dealt with that were just totally outright nasty. Right. But what you got going on, dog? What you got going on? I heard the Ayatollah of rock and roll and the Mick Jagger of professional wrestling is heading into the Schmodown, man. Chris Jericho, what's going on?
I couldn't be. It's surreal. I mean, it was surreal when you got involved. When I remember when we had just done the Roca and Merle match, and Brad had introduced himself to me and was like, "Hey, so I work with Booker T," and I'm like, "Who is this wacko? He doesn't work with Booker T." And then you find out that he does, and you started doing it and getting involved with you, and it was very surreal to me because of my history of wrestling and working with you, and all of that, and doing stuff at your gym, and then you fast forward to where Jericho had come into Collider Live for an interview, and I told the story that I would ask people when I was interviewing people in general if they had heard about the Schmodown. They took pictures with the belts that we had that you guys generously made for us, which are beautiful. And anyway, so Jericho came in, and I said, I'm not going to ask him about the Schmodown. I'm just not going to do it today. I'm not going to bother him. I just want to interview him about what he's doing. The end of the interview, he goes, "You didn't even ask me about the Schmodown." And I was like, "No." Well, he's like, "Oh, when am I going to play?" And I'm like, when do you want to play? I was like, "Do you want to call a match?" He's like, "No, I don't want to call a match. I want to play." And I'm like, whenever you want. And he challenged Kevin Smith in that interview. And And then we changed up the Schmodown in general for those people who are listening for the first time and don't know what it is. It's like we wanted to get away from bar, like the moniker of like bar trivia, because as you guys know, we're not bar trivia. We've turned trivia into a sport. And this year we added 9 factions, and with managers, we had a full-on draft. We had free agency, we had trades, we had we just went full on like sports, going on the esports model. So Kevin Smith and Jericho both said they wanted to join free agency, not as just like a celebrity match, but they wanted to play inside of the league.
Wow.
So we had 2 managers pick them up, and then I said, okay, well, they're both on the rosters. I said, let me try to put the match together. So I went out to Roxy Stryer, who's Chris Jericho, and Roxy interviewed Chris with me on Claire Live, and they became buddies, and he wanted to play for her. So then she told me, she's like, Chris is in if Kevin's in. And then I talked to Corey Jandrew, who brought Kevin in because they'd worked together on comic book shopping over a Collider. And he said, Kevin's in and he's going to play Jericho. And that was it. It was that simple. It's pretty, well, I'm excited, man, because they both really want to play.
Man, I know the people are excited, man. So make sure you let everyone know, man, how they can actually be a part of this, man.
So what we're doing normally, we have like a model where based off of what the WWE has done with their network, we wanted to do that with our Patreon. And when you went to patreon.com/schmodown, at our $10 tier, you get all of our pay-per-views, you get everything that we do, plus exhibition matches, special Q&As, all of that stuff. But for this one, we're giving it away for free. We're doing a double header, and it's going to be on Friday at 5 p.m. PST on youtube.com/the Schmodown. And it's like a double main event, really, for Schmodown fans. We're doing a rematch book of Ben Bateman and Andrew Guy. Last time they performed was in your ring, and Andrew got hit with a chair that you helped facilitate. So yeah, that, and the winner of that gets a shot at Dan Merle for the Movie Trivia Schmodown Championship. So 2 big matches, one for the Schmodown fans in general that want to see their characters kind of perform, and for the new fans that are going to come in to learn about some of our characters. But of course, the main event being Kevin Smith, the icon of pop culture and just a directing genius. And then you get Chris Jericho, who, the guy, I don't count him out of anything he wants to do. You know, like the guy, I want to be a musician. He's a famous rock star. I want to be a wrestler. He's a champion in every place that he goes. He's the guy accomplishes whatever he wants. So no one should count him out of this match at all.
You know what, man? What I remember most about when you guys came to Reality of Wrestling, Booker T World Gym Arena, what I remember most about that whole thing, man, it was an awesome show, guys. If you ever thought about what the Schmodown was all about, you definitely got to get out and check it out next time they come to Texas City. But it was this guy that was leaving, man. I think it was like him, three or four guys, and they said, "Man, I just want to thank you for bringing the Schmodown to Texas City." And I was like, "Wow!" That right there, it made me feel so good, because I never thought someone in Texas City, as many people in Texas City, would be so off into the Schmodown, man. Right. It totally opened my eyes to something totally unique, something totally special for people that could really be a part of, and not just be a part of from an outside perspective. You actually get enthralled with actually what's good. The action brings you inside. It's almost like a match.
Yeah.
There's a good match.
Yeah.
Let me say that. Let me say that first. But Brad, go ahead, Brad. I know you probably got something.
Well, I was going to ask you, Book. I mean, you've worked with Chris Jericho for many years back, going to WCW, WWE, and he's always come across as a competitive guy. What would your prediction be? I know Kevin Smith has lived in movies since the 90s. Jay and Silent Bob, all those great things. But Jericho's a pop culture guy as well. What would be Booker T's prediction for Friday?
Man, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna get bet against Chris Jericho on anything. The dude, he's a smart dude. He really is. He really is a smart dude. He's not just playing a role. Let me put it like this: Chris Jericho didn't get where he gotten in life by osmosis or slipping on a banana peel or anything like that. No, it's been by preparation, has been his only luck in this whole thing, man. So as far as movies go, I mean, he's lived it. That's where his life is. As far as being able to improv and come up with something on a dime, bang, that's Chris Jericho. And I'm not just saying that because he's a friend of mine. I'm saying that because this guy is truly one of a kind. And I give him a lot of props, and I don't call him the Mick Jagger of professional wrestling for nothing, because I say people don't ask, when Mick Jagger walk in a room, they don't say, man, who's that old dude? They just say, that's Mick Jagger. Can I get an autograph? Can I get a picture? That's Chris Jericho. So, man, there again, man, Kristian, hopefully everything will turn out sweet for you guys. And Chris Jericho, with my prediction being the winner, will make me look good at the same time. Any parting words?
Yeah, man. Again, thank you for letting me talk about it here too, because I think the other thing I should say about both Chris Jericho and Kevin Smith is that they have just been an absolute pleasure to work with. Just really a pleasure to work with, because they're both it doesn't feel like, oh, that's Chris Jericho, oh, that's Kevin Smith. They're just like, oh, those are two competitors in the league. They want to put it on the line. They want to impress. They're both nervous, which I love, but they're nervous in an excited way, that they want to get out there and show their movie knowledge. They've done podcasts together about movies. Yeah. They are both promoting it. They're talking smack to each other in a fun way, so it's like this is going to be the match. If you've never seen the movie Trivia Schmodown before, then I really, really would love for you to come on over. Go to youtube.com/the Schmodown. Subscribe today, because the match happens on Friday, so you don't want to forget about it. So make sure, go on over there today and subscribe. We'd love to have you.
Hey, don't miss out. Don't get shut out. It's the Schmodown. Hey, guys, stick around. Kristian, I appreciate you, dog. Hey, guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. Hey, man, that's the Schmodown. That's the Schmo. Hey, if you don't know about it, man, look it up. Look it up. Check it out. It's definitely something you can get off into, especially right now with this pandemic. We're looking for something to, occupy our minds.
Yeah.
And the Schmodown would definitely be that cure, man, because all of you suckers that just got that wasteless knowledge in your head, you're just waiting to, dump. That Schmodown, man, will definitely pick you up, make you feel like, oh, wait a minute, I'm a genius. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious, man.
What's crazy is, being involved with the Schmodown a little bit more, you start to realize these guys don't just go in with what they know anymore. They go in, they study, they strategize, they game plan, they try to scout their opponent. What's his weakness? Oh, okay, well, I'm good at that. Let me study that, or let me put this on the wheel. They take it 100% like it's a legitimate sport, and it's really fun to be a part of and watch. So yeah, definitely go check it out. And Jericho, like you said, man, I think Jericho can win. He seems like a movie fanatic, and especially the 80s, 90s. I think he's got it in the bag, man.
No, like I said, I'm not going to bet against him. I'm serious, man. The brother is he's one of a kind, man. He really is, and I'm not just saying that because we're good buddies or anything like that. It's just he's one of those guys, man, that, he's good at just about everything. It's crazy. But I want to give a shout out. There's a couple of people sending out comments, man. I definitely told people if you're going to comment, I'm definitely going to get back with you on some of them. Anyway, Stephen Tremblay was asking me if it was anything I would do differently in my wrestling career. You know what? I really don't think so, man. I really don't think it is anything that I would do differently. Just because I pretty much did, I would change the outcome in the WrestleMania match with Triple H. You know, that's about the only thing that I think that I would do differently.
Right.
But anything other than that, right there, I don't think I would change it at all. I mean, because getting into the business was all about going out and there again means of support for the fam, man, making sure I take care. The men always take care of their family, man. That's what men do. And I've always put myself in that category right there as far as being able to go out and, you know, take care of my family, man. At the end of the day, that's what it's all, that for me is what it has been all about for all of these years. I'm serious. So I don't think I would change anything.
You know, you bring up the WrestleMania 19 thing, and you say you would go back and change that if you could. Have you and Triple H ever discussed that match afterward? Because I know y'all worked together subsequent times afterward, even main eventing a SummerSlam together. Did y'all ever have a conversation, or did Triple H ever say, "Man, Book, we should have done it differently," or was it just business? And I'm going to keep it moving. You keep it moving. It's just another night.
It was business. It was business. Just like, you know, until I had Jeff Jarrett on the show and we talked about, Bash at the Beach. It was the first time Jeff and I had ever uttered a word about it.
Right.
Because it wasn't about, us, getting our thrills off of what happened that night, because at the end of the night, Jeff got paid, I got paid, and we all went home and, hopefully we live to do it another day. That's what, for me, it was all about. Even with the Triple H match, man, I'm going to tell you, I forgot, and I've said this several times, but I forgot all about that match after I got the check. I did. I'm serious, man. I forgot all about that. I'm serious, man. When you get a check big enough to where you can pay for your house, you don't think about the title or the match or anything like that. You think about, good God. I come from South Park, Texas, okay? I'm used to getting, checks every 2 weeks, from the job, and the zeros, normally, what there was, you know what I mean? But when I got in the wrestling business and I started seeing those checks, man, the last thing I was thinking about was the title, other than being the best guy in the locker room so I could keep getting those checks. That's it. That is it.
But you've always said it's about checks and championships.
The two go together.
They go together.
The checks and the championships go together. And the thing is, you can't get the check if you ain't championship quality. You got to be a guy that they are giving the ball to. It's like the running back, the quarterback, the wide receiver. You ain't got to think about how much money those guys are making and what kind of contracts those guys are getting. They're getting paid. All right. It's the guys that play within the middle. Those guys, the ones that got to be extraordinary before you start hearing about how much money they get paid. You know what I mean? So for me, it was about being the best guy in the locker room, having a title around my waist, because if I had a title around my waist, that meant that I had a certain position, in the company. I knew I was going to have a certain position on the card, as well as I was going to have a certain position as far as how much money that I was going to be making. So at the end of the day, I was strategizing on the checks and the championships, preferably the championships and the checks.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know, I know that match and that night comes up all the time, and I still see it on Twitter all the time. People getting into arguments to this day about that match. And it made me wonder, because I remember WrestleMania 35, MetLife Stadium, when Kofi went out there and he won the world title. It was such a special moment, right? I remember sitting there in the box, and you almost got a little emotional watching it. Like, wow, man, that's crazy. Do you think that if you would have won the title back then, that Kofi moment would have been special like it was? Or do you think that do you think that you not winning the title set kind of this emotions going toward that ultimate goal that we got in front of 80,000?
Honestly, I think it wouldn't have been as celebratory as I think people make it out to be. I think a lot of people did want me to win that night.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't, care if I lost or not. In the moment as well, the difference between myself and Kofi. I think the moment that we're in right now in society, I think that's one of the really, really big reasons we needed Kofi to win that night. Just because what's going on in our culture right now in life, So I think the moment for Kofi winning was so much more important for him winning than it was for me, because that moment pretty much, solidified Kofi Kingston as being a guy that came through this business, a guy that won the world championship. For me, I won so many world titles, it ain't even funny, so it's a big difference. I won all of the titles except that one, Kofi hadn't had that chance to win all the other titles that I did, and do the things that I did at the top level, taking nothing away from Kofi, but his moment and my moment were just two different things. Would it have been great for a lot of people? I think so, but there again, I just think as far as it being as important, what moment needed it the most, I think Kofi Kingston's moment needed it more than my moment.
Wow, yeah, I never thought about it when you say it like that. But you already had won the world title in WCW, second African American champion ever. The second guy to ever do it was you.
Then I won the world title in WWE as well. And
then you won the world title in WWE. And people forget, you actually won your 5th WCW title in WWE.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you definitely had a couple moments. But I think that, retrospectively, I remember watching WrestleMania 19. And I was cheering for you to win, not for maybe the same reasons other people were. I was like, oh, Booker T's from Houston. That's my guy. I'm going to go for a Booker in this match, right? And you were the babyface. But I think looking back at it, it would have been a moment, but like what you just said that I never thought about, the time period that we were living in and continue to live in, we were just talking about it earlier in the show, for Kofi to win it in the time that he did, I think you're right. It's a bigger moment.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel that way. That's why I was really pushing for Kofi to win. I remember at Wale's party, I put Kofi over. At the Hall of Fame speech, I made sure I put Kofi over, and made sure I want the world to know that I was pulling for him. Just because, not that I was sad about my moment or anything like that, because I honestly can tell you, man, I swear to God, I've never lost one moment of sleep about losing a wrestling match. I just never have. I just never have lost a moment about going out and losing a wrestling match, because I always felt, man, if it was real, I would have been the one-time world heavyweight champion, and I would have retired as the world heavyweight champion, because none of them suckers would have been able to beat me. You know what I mean? That's just the way I feel about that. I don't care. I'm just putting it out there. Iron Sheik. You know what I mean? I heard him talking like he wanted to do something. You know what I mean? I heard they talking about Ming. Ming, he probably would have gave me a little haku. He would have gave me a little trouble. But at the end of the day, I'd have got rid of him too. And all the rest of them suckers that thought, you know what? They know. All the ladies, they know. Hey, Hall of Fame.
Wait, before we go to break, we got to go to our sponsor. Everyone, you better be wearing your face mask. I got mine wherever I go, my Boomer Naturals. So check this out.
Hey, Brad, one of the biggest changes we're all dealing with right now is wearing a mask, and not all offer the same comfort and protection. I recommend the Boomer Natural 3-layer comfortable and highly breathable mask. These come in sizes for adults, teens, and children, and are in stock and be shipped to you quick.
Yeah, Book, one of the reasons they're so highly protective is because of the nanosilver technology that's literally woven right into the fabric. Nanosilver can block those tiny drops and particles from getting into the nose and mouth, and that's what we want right now. It's the best protection out there. Boomer also offers the popular nanosilver neck gaiters. That's a mask that'll cover your neck and face. Another great thing is that Boomer will donate one face cover for every order to nonprofits and charities, helping tens of thousands of Americans in need, and I got to say, I love that.
Yeah, order now at boomernaturals.com. Use promo code Booker and save 20%. That code Booker at boomernaturals.com. Get free shipping and handling when you spend at least $50 online at boomernaturals.com. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame.
What are you doing over there?
Although we're working on a little something, man. Don't worry about it, man. I'm good. I tell you, man, the Boomer Naturals, man. Make sure you guys do it, man. Do it because CDC, man, they talking nonsense. It really is. They're talking nonsense, talking about if you're around somebody with COVID, you ain't got to go get tested. You know what, man? Guys, use your brain, okay? Use your brain. Don't listen to nonsense. I'm sitting on a freaking plane just a couple of days ago, and a guy sitting next to me, and he's got his mask halfway down his nose, and I had to, look at him stupid to get him to put it back on. And he's sitting there wanting to talk to me like, man, these masks, you know what I mean? I've been doing a lot of research. Just the reason why everybody's getting sick. And I just want to go, are you stupid? Are you stupid? And then immediately somebody in the back, collapse, and they have to emergency land the plane to get somebody off. And this idiot next to me is talking about people. Use your brain, okay? Use your brain.
Oh, I didn't know they had to emergency land the plane.
Going overseas for many years, I've been seeing people in other countries, especially the Asian countries, wearing these masks for years. So guys, use your brain. If you're around somebody and they get sick, seem like the common sense thing would be to go and check yourself. It's not that expensive at all. It's very cheap to actually get done. To have just the sense of, okay, I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm not spreading this around.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially if you got kids running around now. Especially if you got
your Boomer Natural mask right now. Promo code Booker.
You do it, man. Do it now.
By the way, I want to shout out someone who's listening.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
I do it for you.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I want to shout out to our guy though, Peter Rosenberg, who's tuning in right now.
Rosie, what's going on? You got look here. Rosie got 3 masks on.
He's extra cautious. Is that what you're saying?
You saw him doing it. Yeah, I'm serious, man. You was downtown or wherever, he had him out. Like, man, when you play, I can't even understand what you're saying. Come on, is anybody around you? I mean, I think he might have been in the park by himself. He was like,
well, his dog was there, so
Yeah, exactly.
So shout out to Peter Rosenberg. Again, we got people watching from all over the world. Thank you. I see Georgia, Raleigh, North Carolina, Tampa. Thank you. We had someone from Italy, France, South Africa. So shout out to everybody watching right now.
South Africa, my people in South Africa. I plan to making my way back one day. One day, I'll make sure. I saw somebody earlier say, man, you got to bring Black Snow back. Black Snow! We might bring him back as soon as I go back to Africa.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, when you went to WWE, because we talked about how you said I need to keep my music. and that was a big deal for you, keeping the Harlem Heat theme, changing it up for Booker T.
Yeah.
When Keith Lee just made his debut on the main roster, they switched his music and they gave him a more generic kind of rock theme, and they switched his ring gear a little bit up, and a lot of fans were upset. And it's so upset to the point Keith Lee had to even address it on social media, saying, guys, you let me worry about this. Y'all worry about,
the music is out of my hands. That's what he said. I was reading it. And for the brother have to actually, you know what? He shouldn't have did. That's today's era, they feel like they got to sometimes, make sure their followers feel good inside, but something like that, him getting some flack from the internet over WWE changing his music is ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. I mean, I could see if Keith Lee had gone through what I went through, which I had my music for I don't know how many years before, I got the WWE, 10 years plus, at least 10 years. I had that same music. That's a little bit different. Keith Lee is different kind of brother, man. And one thing I can say, I don't think this is something that's going to rub him or make him, flinch or anything like that. Maybe, giving a shout out to his followers and saying, hey, hopefully we can address. I think he said, I'll address this later or something like that.
Yeah, I think something like that.
Yeah, but it's crazy, man. It's just crazy when social media drives the narrative of what's going on in your life. There again, it was about me, my family, and me taking care of them at the end of the day. And I'm kind of glad I didn't have people on social media that was scrutinizing everything I did, because I might have had the knack to want to hit those characters and say something back as well. So I'm really glad I didn't live in that era.
Also, it gets in your head as somebody who's come up in the social media era. When you see something that's said about you in a comment or something, sometimes you throw it to the side, but sometimes you take it to heart, and it starts making you question yourself. Like, oh man, did I really sound like that? Or, oh, did I really, and you start second guessing yourself. And I think as a performer, especially in the ring, second guessing yourself is the worst thing that could possibly happen. You have to be confident when you go out there. But my question to you is this: did, not even in WWE and WCW, WWE, or TNA, any places that you work global, did they ever come to you and say, hey, we're going to change your look or change your music or change something about you that for you didn't feel right and may have altered your trajectory at all?
There again, man, I'm lucky I didn't have to come up in this era. I'm blessed I didn't come up in this era, because you do have so many people telling you, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that, run fast, run slow, jump high, jump low. It's crazy. What I mean? And there again, when I came into WWE, I remember hearing Marcus Bagwell tell a story. It was about the night him and I wrestled in Tacoma, Washington. And that night, Marcus Bagwell, they told him not to go out and do his dance, not to go out and do any posing. Don't look at the crowd. Go straight to the ring and just wrestle. Don't play. And the thing is, people can say what they want to say about Marcus Bagwell, but that's a true story, because they told me the exact same thing. Don't go out and high five any of the people. Don't do the spin-a-rooney. Don't look at the people. Walk straight to the ring. Get in the ring. Work. And the thing is that those are people that's micromanaging stuff, and I would sometimes say perhaps they really just don't know. And there again, one person wasn't telling me, to do everything or not to do everything. It was several different people. And I remember I went to the boss back in the day. Right hand to the man upstairs. Right hand to the man upstairs. I said, boss, if I can I get a meeting with you, Vince McMahon? I said, can I have a meeting with you? And he said, yeah, I say, Vince, I got this. I say, what's going on is I got this agent telling me this. I got this agent telling me this. And I got this agent telling me this. I say, now, I know I'm going to get fired that way. I say, so if you don't mind, if I could go out here and do my stuff my way, and if I don't put, behinds in the seats, just fire me. I say, but my thing is, I wanted to get fired on my merit and my mistakes, opposed to somebody else's telling me what to go out there and do. And there again, now Keith Lee is in a position to where, somebody might say, hey, let's do this and let's do that, and he might say, okay, so you never know what the situation is as far as this goes. But for me, I know you got to somewhere find a spot to where you feel comfortable at whatever you're going to be doing, So I think Keith Lee was more comfortable making his debut on Monday Night Raw, in a program with Randy Orton, more than anything, So if anybody looked past that, they're missing the boat. Wasn't a little awkward as far as the confrontation between him and Randy? It was a little awkward. I want to see more. I'm trying to see exactly where we're going here. I'm wondering if Keith Lee is part of the way you come out and talk from an opera perspective. He's got that voice, but he, takes the gloves off and, but that moment kind of, I was a little perplexed about it. So I'm looking to see more out of Keith Lee.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to see more out of Keith Lee as well. And he's wrestling Randy Orton at PayBack this Sunday. And if there's anybody to make your debut against, it's a guy like Randy Orton, especially right now when Randy somehow has reached another little level in his career to where he's telling stories. He's working at a very, very high rate. Like he's got something to prove. Like he's trying to prove I'm the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be, to quote Bret Hart. And he's doing a damn good job of it. So if I'm Keith Lee, I know, all right, this is a good way to come in.
No, man, that's why
I'm not going to be worried about people saying that I look like I'm wearing a skirt on TV.
Look, that's the last thing one should be thinking about is what the people are thinking when I'm in the biggest place of my life. So many people make it about them and what they want to see. What about me? You know what I mean? This is the biggest moment of my life, and this is what I got to listen to. That you didn't like my theme song. Wow, you know what I mean? Come on here. Life is so much bigger than that. And I just don't understand, why people really, really believe in and take the small stuff, But that it is what it is. Samoa Joe. People are wondering if we have seen Samoa Joe's final ring appearance. And the question is, I don't know, but if I was Joe and I had that smooth kick job, and I'm sitting at the table where, I ain't got to go out and take bumps. I'm still being able to be a part of everything. My wife and family is not suffering, and we all good, in the Ponderosa. I'm good, man. I'm good sitting right here at the desk. Thing is, before that article came out, I was at the pay-per-view, WWE SummerSlam, WWE's Thunderdome, and I got a chance to hang out with Samoa Joe, and I posed a question, man. I said, man, Joe, what's the prognosis on the wrestling career, man? On your in-ring return? And he said, man, I like working at the desk, and this is, something, getting in the ring, I don't mind doing that, but I like working at the desk, and that right there. It tells me a whole lot right there, man. It tells me that, man, he's comfortable doing it. A lot of guys don't make the transition as well as Joe has made that transition. And it's a position that he can have for a very, very long time. So I say if Samoa Joe wanted to just do that, big ups, my friend, big ups. Do it to the best of your ability until something else better come along.
All right. Well, hey, we got to take a quick break right here on the Hall of Fame. Don't go anywhere. ESPN 97.5. Back in a minute.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Still rolling WWE. Wade Barrett, King Barrett, making his return back to the WWE NXT. Actually, to do some commentating since Mauro Ranallo has been handling some personal issues. But I could have sworn I saw Mauro last week calling some boxing.
Maybe I thought I haven't kept as close an eye on NXT lately. But I think that Wade Barrett coming back is great because he was somebody when he got into that. Remember when he was Bad News Barrett? I think you even had a segment with him on Raw one night where he was tearing down all the legends and then you came out and shut him up. But when he was doing that thing and he was on the big perch that they had him on and I'm afraid I got some bad news. He was great. He was great in that role. So as a talker, as a communicator, as a promo, he was great. So I think that he'd do well on the desk. And this is a guy who, when he came in, had superstar written all over him. It didn't pan out that way from his in-ring career, but we were just talking about Samoa Joe saying, hey, I'm all right not being in the ring right now. Maybe Wade's true calling is, I'm gonna be the guy on the desk. I'm gonna be the voice.
I don't know, man. I think this could be just a re-entry to return to the company somehow. Thing is, I think when Wade was here, man, he wanted to be that guy. Wade Barrett wanted to be the guy that was working at the top of the card. Of course, due to a couple of injuries, set Wade back a couple of times. Seemed like every time he came back, boom, something would happen. He'd leave, come back again, boom, something happened. And then they put him in the that role of being whatnot, Bad News Barrett. Yeah, that's what it was, Bad News Barrett. But I think Barrett, man, I think we were talking about someone that still got something left in the tank. I think he could be that guy, man. I really do. Of course, Drew McIntyre has been the guy that's been the one that shattered the glass ceiling. Okay,
yeah,
being that first guy from across the pond to win the World Heavyweight Championship. But I literally touted, Wade Barrett as being that guy. Before Drew McIntyre, I said, man, Wade Barrett is going to be the first, Brit to come over here and win the World Championship. And boom, it just didn't happen for him. But is it anyone that I think perhaps got something still left to prove? Just like Drew McIntyre, just like Jinder Mahal, it's Wade Barrett, and I just think this is a great re-entry for him to actually, just get back in the company.
This whole retribution thing was really remnant of Nexus. And I remember reading prior to WrestleMania, they were thinking about bringing Nexus back and having having Wade Barrett be the leader again of a new version of Nexus. And then he said he didn't really like the idea, so they didn't go with it. But I think that you think that he could still be a guy working at the top of the card, even at this stage of the game when he's been out of sight, out of mind for so long?
I don't know, man. To be honest, I really don't. One thing about it, time off, just one thing about being away from the game. That's why I kind of, I wouldn't say question CM Punk or anything, but I wonder, you just lose your feel. You know what I mean? You lose your feel a little bit. Not that you can't go out there and do it, but it's something about it that's just a little bit off. And that's the one thing that I would wonder about more than anything. But I think Wade is still young enough to where, man, the hunger can, still be there. I don't know what he's been doing as of late. Of course, he hadn't been doing a whole lot with this pandemic over this last 5 months.
He's been doing a lot of movies lately.
Yeah. But prior to that, yeah. So it's one of those things, man. The Rock seemed to always come back and have the feel. He always seemed to have the people up in arms. So I think Wade coming back, being reintroduced, definitely, especially if they could put him with my kid down there, Elliot Sexton. Make him a tag team or something. That's what his name was when.
What's Elliot's name in NXT? God, I forgot it. I if you hadn't said his old name, I would have remembered it, but I can't think of it right now. But Elliot Sexton was the real boy when he came in to reality wrestling.
What is his name now, man? I can't think of it.
I'll figure it out. I want to give him his proper credit.
Anybody out there that know it, tweet it in. Text
Brendan Vink.
Yeah, Vinks. Yeah. Brendan Vinks. Yeah. Elliot Sexton. I think Sexton had. I think that name fit him better, bro. I think he'd have been a big star with that name. Elliot Sexton sound like some James Bond type stuff. And but
it does.
Extra Brendan Vick. How many guys we got named Brandon? How many guys we got with a name like that? But how many Elliot Sextons do we got?
We have none. We have zero.
Exactly.
It does sound like a Bond villain. Like Elliot Sexton would be the big bodyguard in Octopussy. You know what I mean?
I'm serious, man. I mean, it got a good ring to it. And I'm not talking about, like Elix, Skipper of Elix or anything like that. All right. Elix Skipper, the Skipper of Elix. That's what I said about him too. I said, man, if anybody out there know Elix Skipper, I say, man, and you guys can chime in on it. Let's do a little poll right now. Let's do a little poll. Elix Skipper, the world heavyweight champion. Do you like that or the Skipper of Elix?
Write it in the chat, guys. Do you like Elix Skipper?
Wait a minute. Let me say the second one. Of the Skipper of Elix, the world heavyweight champion. How that sound? Which one sound better to you?
Initially I thought the Skipper of Elix was cooler, but I feel like it's too much of a nickname. He would need something else.
Bro, that's the gimmick. You know what I mean? The name is just part of the gimmick. It can be whatever people imaginations can bring themselves to think that it is. It could be a pirate. It could be anything. It could be anything.
I'm seeing what people.
He's got his own world, man. He's got his own world. The Elix Skipper has nothing.
Someone said Daniel Price in the chat says he needs a scientist gimmick and become double helix Elix. I like that one. I like double helix Elix. That's pretty funny. Elix Skipper, you mean Cage Walk Elix? The second one. So some people, we're a little split right now. Kristian Ramos says he likes Skipper of Elix.
Yeah.
Kid 2 de Krasix says Skipper of Elix would have been nice. Mr. E 1976 says I like Elix Skipper. So
come on, man.
Team Velvet says the Skipper of Elix. That's not cool. So we're getting a mixed reaction to your nickname.
See, that's the problem, man, with social media and stuff like this. People they just don't want to fall in line. How many times have I been wrong on something like this, man? Championship names, whatnot. How many guys have I've named in reality of wrestling?
Right.
Every one of them that's won the title, I named them. I should tell you something right there.
Although my favorite one is, you talk about too many Brendans. We have Brendan Steen in the reality of wrestling, and we're trying to name him. And I'll never forget this. Booker's like, I got a great idea. We'll name him James Kirk. I was like, Book, that's from Star Trek. You're like, nobody's going to remember that.
James Kirk is a championship name, man.
It is a championship name, but it's also a pretty known name.
But it's not his real name. So what of it? Anybody can be James Bond. That's how you spell it, right?
Yeah. It depends on how you spell it so you don't get sued.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I like the Skipper of Elix a lot better, and his career would have went a lot further if he would have taken my advice back in the day. And that's just me. That's just me. I'm normally spot on with stuff like that. But man, we're getting close to getting up out of here, man. We got to get up out. I want to thank everybody, man. I want to thank everybody, for hanging in here with us. Everybody in the Houston, Beaumont area, actually. Man, you guys hunker down, man. They say the storm is coming, going to be here like 4 o'clock, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning or something like that. Definitely, take care of your family, man. Put your stuff away because man, we don't know how. Thing is, every time we sleep on these storms and say, oh, they ain't gonna hit us, you know what I mean? That's when boom, they hit. I go outside and my whole back gate is missing. I'm like, who robbed me? You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, I called a guy to come. I'm like, I mean, can you come out and give me a quote putting the skate back up for me. The insurance said they wasn't paying for it because it was windstorm. It wasn't the hurricane that did it, but it was the hurricane and the wind. Seemed like those two go together. But the guy, I can go check it out. I'll take a look at it. You know what I mean? Give you a good price on it. Boom. He look at it. He come back in the house, and I go, "How much is it?" He goes, "It's this much." He wouldn't tell me.
Yeah.
I almost, did something right there. As soon as he did that, it was $15,000.
Woo!
$15,000. I said, let me call Pedro. See if I can get a better price. But no, man. I want to thank all you guys, man. I want to thank all you guys for hanging out with me, man. Being a part of the Hall of Fame, man. Doing it like we do all the time, man. Having some fun. We'll be right back, same place, same time next week. I got PayBack this weekend too, y'all. So y'all gonna get a chance to see me on television. Hey guys, I appreciate y'all. Bradley, again, we up out of here.